Hi, my name is Stephanie and welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to talk about how to style linen pants so that you can enjoy it more and maybe styling it a little bit different and move towards a different direction than the traditional linen pants where you're wearing the linen pants with like a cropped vest or your linen pants with like a linen top, a button down linen top. And so I thought I wanted to do a tutorial where we're moving away from that direction and also to help maybe give a little bit more visual direction on how you want it to fit and maybe even develop a little bit of like a personality style for yourself, right? Like develop a little bit of more character or things like that. And so let's just go ahead and dive into it. So the first thing I wanted to do was talk about the hats and the 6 different outfits, and I want to show them to you and why I chose them versus like something else. So the first hat that I want to show you is this hat right here. This is like a very casual hat, and as you can see, it kind of like goes with the vibe because this whole collection here is casual. And so this is also made out of linen. It's kind of like a linen, like when you touch it, it doesn't have that rough feel, but the braid of it is just kind of like when you go somewhere and they have like potatoes in a potato sack, it kind of has that feeling, except that it's not rough, right? And so that's why I chose it. And the other one, the reason why I chose this one is because it is also very casual and it kind of matches the theme. And I also chose this one is because, I love this hat. Sometimes it can get too hot when you're are outside in the summer, and I like that it's able to breathe through the holes and stuff. And this is actually like a cotton yarn type of crochet type of hat, and so it's very casual and you can wear it over the summer. And I can tell you why. You know, this is a hat that I didn't choose because I feel like this has a different vibe. It doesn't really match this casual type of outfit. I feel like this type of hat is more for like when I'm wearing like sporty clothes or something like that. Um, but I didn't choose this hat, and I feel like it has a different vibe and it goes with different stuff. And so I just wanted to, clarify why I wouldn't choose a hat like this. So let's go ahead and, since that's over with, let's go ahead and dive right into the different types of outfit that I wanted you guys to see. So the first reason, the first outfit, the reason why I chose this is because this is the pants that most people online are wearing right now. And so I wanted to do a little tutorial on this. When you look at this is kind of like a airy type of fabric. It's linen and it's baggy, very super casual. Um, so, I wanted to give you a different perspective on this. And how I did this was I actually paired it up with the first outfit. I paired it up with something like this. At first glance, you probably think, oh, those, may not go together. But I picked this top because I felt like it would be a little different from what you're seeing right now on YouTube. And also, I picked this top because I felt like it was unique to me. I feel like this is a part of my personality. And so um, I chose this because I wanted it to speak how I felt about myself. And hopefully, you guys can walk away from this tutorial about learning something about yourself and how you want to express yourself out there. But for me, I felt like this top, um, identify who I was. And so I chose this top. And then, right now, a lot of people are using things to, kind of like tie around their waist. But I also feel like if you get a fabric that is too thick, it actually doesn't really look correct, or it's just a little bit off. And so I wanted to share with you about how this sweater right here, why I chose this sweater is because I don't like anything like bulky around my waist. And I also think that when I see that, it doesn't look as sharp. And so when you want to just add color or a little bit of texture, something like this would be good if you want to tie around your waist because it's not as bulky. And this is probably just like a one ply type of knit sweater. And I really like this for the stripes. And if you're really into that Parisian look, this is good for that type of look, right? And so, like for me, the reason why I chose this is because I felt like I could express myself in something like this. In the second outfit, with this type of pants, I chose to wear like a little silky top. I think that this will be more breezy, in the tank top. And then I also use this, and this is that Remy fabric that I've been talking about a little bit. It's really thin, and I felt like if you layer them together, it won't be so hot because, especially with people who don't like to show their arms or something like that, right? Something like this would be helpful. You can kind of like cover your arms. It's still breathable, but you have your tank top underneath. And then for texture and for color, I chose this to put around the neck because I felt like um, with all of these three pieces, I think as you start taking them off, they can still stand alone. So, like, if you decided that you didn't want to wear this and you took this off, you can still wear these two pieces out in public with your pants and it still looks good, right? A good example of something like that would be like in the wintertime, people talk a lot about wearing your basics. So, you have like what I normally see is I see someone that has like a black um, turtleneck with like black skinny jeans, and then they have like a beautiful coat on, and then they go somewhere, they come to a house party or something, and then they take off their coat and they're just left with this kind of like simple plain outfit underneath. And so when you're doing something like that, you want to make sure that like each piece can stand alone, and as you take them off, it doesn't look so plain, right? Like it's not dependent on each other. And so that's, the reason behind this particular outfit and why I chose this. The third outfit that I chose was to put these two together. And we had talked earlier about why I wouldn't choose something like this to tie around my waist is because it's too thick. It's something that it's too bulky. It doesn't look good, and it's not unique in that way when you put it on. It just seems like when I see people do that and they don't understand why it's being done, it looks like they saw it somewhere and they just decided to do something. But um, how I decided to use this would be good for like when those cold summer mornings where it's still cold in the morning, a little bit cold at night, but in between there you're it's too hot. And so an outfit like this would save you from a different microclimate like that where it just shifts constantly throughout the day. And so this is 100% cotton, and you'll see me wear this a lot. Like this is something that I think everyone needs in their closet if you're into this classic type of style. And I styled it with this yellow sweater, particularly because it's also you want to be a little bit on trend, but you don't want to overdo it. And yellow is actually my favorite color. So I have a lot of yellow to begin with, but I styled it with this and this because I thought it would give a different perspective from what we are seeing now. On YouTube, and also because if you want to move away from neutrals, something like this can help you move a little bit away from the neutrals and start maybe playing with colors and stuff a little bit more. But that's why I chose this for this tutorial, for people to take a look at it and maybe explore something for yourself, right? And so I wanted to go ahead and style that with the traditional linen pants that most people see. But on the next tutorial, the next pants, I thought that maybe we can move towards something different. And so I wanted to do one of these other pair of pants that you don't see very common. It's not very common online. It's actually the thicker fabric type of linen, and it's a real like structured pants. And so I thought this would be different and that you guys might be more interested in something that, um, if you want uniqueness or you want, to change your style a little bit and move towards a different direction, I thought this pants would be good. And I also chose blue because I kind of felt like there's a lot of white and a lot of tan out there right now, or even cream. But I thought blue would be, something fun to kind of like look at, right? And so in the first outfit, I styled it with this. And this is also something that, it's very like, if you're into Parisian chic, then it's something, this would fit into that category. But again, when you're wearing something like this is also, this complete outfit would save you from, your microclimates again of like it being hot and cold and hot and cold, because if you wanted to, you can just put this sweater over completely over the tank top, and um, you'll be warm, right? Because this sweater here is cashmere. It's a 2-ply cashmere, and so it's not so heavy, but you still want to be warm. And the reason why I chose the red with the blue is also because they are primary colors and they match. And so, it looks better together with the blue pants. And, again, the reason why cashmere sweaters in 2-ply is really good in that if you want to stay warm, it'll keep you warm, but also, again, in that space where you can tie it around your waist and it looks kind of cool because it's not so heavy, and it looks better when you tie it in a knot. And so that's why I chose this red sweater. But I also wanted to explain why I would choose something like that, especially in the summer, right? Because in the morning it's still cold. And this will resolve a lot of that problems that, when you're waking up in the morning, it's cold outside. This is something that will solve all of that. The second thing that I paired it up with is this beautiful Victorian style shirt. And the reason why I did that is because, again, this is my personality. I wanted to add interest and texture. And not only that, but, I did it because, for me, when I'm teaching these classes or I'm teaching it to different people outside, when I'm working, this is something that when you use, right, or when you put it on a mannequin or something like that, it can make people stop, right? And that's the thing, is like when you're getting ready and getting dressed, like this is something maybe even people would consider a one off, like you bought it to wear it this just this one time. But for me, when you maybe visualize it different or open up your mind more, you can use it more. And so that's why I use this piece, with the pants, because I felt that it would be different. And it does add a different personality and a different trait. And, what I wanted to say about that is like, like when you're walking by, like the mall, right? And there's a window display. What you want to, how you can tell if it's interesting is if you would stop to kind of like take a look at it, right? And so when you're developing your style or when you're developing your personality or your trait into your clothing, and you're looking in the mirror, like if you're walking by a window, would you stop to take a look at it? And so that is something that may help you define whether if you like something or not, right? And so in the second outfit, I paired it up with this. It's like a little crochet top, actually. Let me pull it up a little bit closer. See these little flowers? It looks like it's like a single type of shirt, from far away and even in the photograph, but it actually has these beautiful little crochet flowers on it. And again, I picked this because it's just my personality. And also, I like that it's easy and breezy in the hot summer. It has these little holes in it. And so, it can breathe out and you won't be so hot. And it's still a little bit stylish. And plus, again, um, one of the reasons why I picked this also is that if I just wore this in the pants, it can still stand by itself. Okay. And I chose this. It's just for texture, just to give it a little definition, a little depth into the outfit. And if you wanted to, also again, if it gets cold or your arm starts to get sunburn or something like that, you would put this on, right? It's just tied around your waist. You'll put it on, and then it will protect you from the sun. Or if you're just getting too hot, you can use something like this. And I also picked this because this type of red here, it's like a muted, I would call like a muted color of red. So I'm going to pull it up. I bought it this way. It's just a very muted. And it always goes well with like jeans or like a deep blue. So like if I have a jean dress on right now, see, it always just, you could wear it with your jean pants or anything like that. But this muted red, always looks good with like jeans. And so since, the linen that we're using is kind of like a jean color, that's why I picked this to go with that. And then as a bonus for you, when I was doing these outfit, this is only 13 pieces, by the way. So as a bonus, while I was doing this, I realized that you can probably take all of this to Europe with you as your capsule wardrobe, right? And I was like, this all goes together. I didn't plan it this way, but it just kind of came out this way, is that these are all your primary colors with your neutrals. And you can kind of like mix and match all of this. And then the only thing that I would add into this collection for you to bring to Europe if you wanted was like maybe 2 additional shorts, just in case it gets too hot. The white, the blue will go with that. And the other thing that I would also bring with me if I was going to Europe right now is this little coat right here. It's like a little half trench coat, just in case, you're, at the ocean or something that gets super cold, you're going on a little cruise or something like that. You can bring this with you. You always need a little jacket for something. But together, this is probably about, 16 pieces now. And you can take this whole thing with you to Europe. And I didn't plan it that way, but it just kind of like came out that way. And hopefully you enjoy this tutorial and um, that you liked it, because I am just doing my best. And so thanks for being here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.